Welcome back to Into the Trenches. I'm your host, Will Ortner, a Couch GM Network podcast. If you're viewing this, you're on the new YouTube page. Thank you so much for heading over there. If you want to give us a follow on Instagram, In the Trenches on Instagram, you can go and give us a follow there. Obviously, you can follow me at Will Ortner on X, Twitter, and on Instagram. Right now, I want to talk about our upcoming podcast. We've got James Moore on. James and I played together at Central Washington. He has a fantastic story about going from a basketball player turning into a football player in a position that most basketball players do not play on the offensive line. And then the story that he's gone through from playing for the Seahawks to playing in the Spring League, the XFL, now the CFL, back to the CFL, playing in BC for the Lions. He's going into his second stint with the Lions right now. He talks about his incredible journey. It's a great podcast. If you want to listen to someone who not only is willing to fight through adversity, but knows how successful they are going to be and will stop at nothing to achieve their dreams. I love James. James is a great dude, and you're going to learn a lot from this podcast. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by Black Label. I've got the hat on. You've been seeing the Pure Power prop up every little minute there. I want to talk about Pure Power for a second. Black Label, they sent me an ad read, but I know that it's better if you hear a personalized story, so that's what I'm going to give you right now. The Pure Power, I've been using it for the last month. I was a former collegiate football player. I was a pretty darn good football player at that over at Central Washington University. I've been now not playing for 2 years. In that time, yes, I've seen my weight go down as an offensive lineman, but you know what else I've seen go down? I've seen my PRs go down, my bench press numbers. I can't bench 4 plates anymore. I can't squat 5 plates anymore. I don't even think I touched the 550s anymore when it comes to my deadlift. I saw all those numbers start to steadily fall and fall and fall. And, you know, as a former player, it kind of hurts me. I'm super competitive. Started taking the Pure Power. And for the first time since when I was 310, 15 pounds, I'm starting to see those numbers start to rise. I'm starting to PR again. The other day, I hit 4 plates on my back squat for the first time in probably 4 years before I hurt my feet over at Central. So I'm starting to see more and more power come. And then the best part about the Pure Power is I don't get any of the jitters or anything else from like a pre-workout. I can just take my Pure Power, go to the gym, get the energy I need, get the creatine in my body that I need, and then I can just absolutely go out and grind out workouts. I can work out longer, I can get more sets in, I can get more reps in, and I'm seeing the growth and the gains. Black Label, they sent me a whole care package. So right now I'm going through with the amino acids, the pre-hustle with the creatine, the post-hustle. I'm going through the greens, amino acids, all that great stuff, creatine. It's all fantastic. I love their supplements. I love their company. They've been great to me. I think they'll be great to you. If you want to head over to their website, you can use the code CouchGM, get 15% off your purchase over there. Remember, grind with Black Label. They are fantastic, and we love them here at the pod. Without a further ado, let's get into our interview with James Moore. Welcome back to In the Trenches. I'm your host, Will Ortner. Joining me right now is multiple-time pro, multiple league professional football player, James Moore, a fantastic offensive lineman. We went to college together at Central Washington. James, how are you doing? It's good to hear from you, bud.
Man, first of all, thank you so much, Will. It's been a pleasure, man. Just getting to talk to you before this, it felt so good, just refreshing the energy. I
All
feel it
right.
again, like we're back in the locker room. So I just appreciate you for having me on this. First of all, let me give the shout out to you and the couch and everything, man, because this is a great opportunity. You didn't have to have me on. This is a blessing, man. It feels good.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, James, here on the Couch GM Network, Into the Trenches podcast. So I want to start right from high school with your journey, because obviously I got to know you playing with you for the 3 or 4 years that we played together, but a lot of people don't understand the type of journey that you went through, right? Like in high school, you only played 1 year of football. Do you want to go through that and kind of how you got into college football, what your background is, and what's made you so successful?
I definitely would, man. It's so crazy. I don't know how long we got today, but I'm definitely willing to give you a little bit of insight, man, because it's a crazy journey. I feel like everybody has their own little story, but mine was very special in my own way. I was a basketball player, bro, growing up. I played football a lot. Growing into middle school and growing into elementary school. But then as I got older, I just kind of fell out of love with the game. It was one injury that I had. I sprained my knee. and it kind of turned me off from the game. And I played basketball all through high school. I ended up getting multiple offers for basketball, man. I enjoyed the game. I was a nuthead about it. I would wake up every morning, like going to the gym, right, dragging my friends to the gym. We to the YMCA on Fridays, late nights. Um, and then times just changed, bro. Like as I fell out of love with the game, there was this guy that was on the football team. He was about 6'7". He was about 6'7". I wanted him to play basketball.
Mhm.
So it was weird, man, the situation. So he asked me, he said, if you play football, I'll play basketball. So
Okay.
mind you, I've known this guy for about 3-4 years already at this point. I played my sophomore year, but I quit
Mhm.
spring ball. I came back my junior year and I quit again in spring ball. And I didn't, and the reason why I quit because I didn't understand recruiting at the time. There
Mhm.
was a lot of stuff that I did not understand. I had coaches coming to practices, D1 coaches from UW to Wazoo to Texas, all these schools coming to my practices and they're taking over the practice. And it kind of had a lot of resentment from my teammates a little bit. Like I kind of made like a disperse. Like we were kind of dividing because they felt like they were only there for them and they were there 2-3 years and I haven't even put in no time or whatever the case may be, and I could just say I'm blessed in that fashion. I didn't understand the stuff. I didn't like the attention. So I kind of made me draw away from it. But
Mhm.
back to what I was saying with my boy Quinn, he was 6'7". He wanted me to play. So I decided to come out there my senior year for football. I went out there, bro, and you'll never believe this, or I didn't even understand how to kick set. It's different. Like they just told me, they said, think about it like you're playing basketball, man. And I said, well, okay, hold on. So I know how to do that. I can do that. So I started doing that, bro. And
Mhm.
I started pancaking guys, and I ended up going against a guy that was like one of the top 5 players in the country. His name is Foster Sorrell. He's a freshman.
Yep.
He's bigger than me at the
Mhm.
time. He's a freshman. He's 6'7", 330. And I think this is probably the play that kind of put me on the map a little bit to get recruited for football again because a lot of the coaches didn't believe in me. They thought he's going to quit. He's a quitter. He's a quitter, man. He's a quitter. So uh, I pancaked Foster in the game against GK, and GK is our rival. I went to Bethel High School.
Mhm.
And when I pancaked them, it was a lot of respect in that because it put my name out there a little bit. Like, okay, no, this guy, he's serious and he actually can play a little bit. So that one year, I ended up getting like 3 to 4 offers. I got 3 Big Skies and four Big Skies and one D2, and one
Mhm.
was Central Washington University. And it's so crazy, bro, because I still had these basketball offers. So mind you, I have football offers at this point, but I'm not thinking about football. I'm still thinking about basketball. This is my goal. This is my dream. I'm thinking about I'm gonna be big baby Glenn Davis. I'm gonna be 6'5" in the league doing something, right? So
Yeah.
then as you start to think about it, and you're like, no, there's no way this isn't like, let's be real. So I broke my foot during my basketball year. During my basketball year, my best year of my career. Best year of my career. I was playing really well, playing very well. I had a lot of teams coming and talking to me as colleges coming and talk to me. My dad, my parents, and my AAU coaches, they put me in a lot of good situations to kind of be recruited. And as time kept going, man, after I broke my foot, I lost every offer. Because I mind you, I'm an undersized big man
Right.
that can dribble. I can dribble really well. I can play the game very well, but realistically, I'm an undersized big. I'm six
Right.
five, going against the trees. These dudes are 6'8". These dudes are 6'9". And it's like I played very well against them, and I was very well enough to accept the challenge. But I was going to just lose a ton of weight when I got to college, just because I was like I was going to transform to a guard. Hopefully,
Mhm.
let that be what it may. But it's just God has a different plan for things, man. God has a different plan for things, bro. And it's so weird because basketball was on my mind, football was on not even on the plateau. So even when I got these offers, or I didn't even care about them.
Mhm.
I didn't care about them. Like I was like, okay, these are another things I can just maybe go to school and play. But it's crazy, bro. When you break your foot now, these are the only offers you have. These are
Mhm.
the only things you have. These are only the reliabilities that you can have right now. So it kind of put a blank slate on my mind. Like, what do I do? I
Mhm.
said, well, you can always walk on to the basketball team. Like when in
Right.
doubt, you can always walk on to the basketball team. You can always go about it that way. There's plenty of different things you can do. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go play football. So I went on all these visits.
Mhm.
Did these things. Cool, awesome. Everything's living lavish. Whatever you want to entail it as, it's lavish. It's
Right.
awesome.
You're having a good time.
We're having a great time, man. We're having a great time, and it's just interesting. It's interesting just getting to that point. Like I can keep going on and on, but I want to just go from going from that point to now to high school, getting to Central and getting to all these like places, bro. It's so interesting. It's so interesting because I still see myself as this basketball player. And what if I kept playing basketball? Where would I be? I don't know. It's interesting.
Right. No, it's funny because most people, when they make it to that professional level, like you have and had the successes that you've had, it's football is my one true love, and that is my number one thing, and that's never what it was for you. And you talked about walking on. I remember when I got to Central, it's hey, we got a player that's on the basketball team. We got a football player that's on the basketball team. Oh, that's sweet. And then it's James Moore. It, it's an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Really? It's this dude who's like 6'5", 320. He could move with the players on the basketball court. And then you see your ability and your fluidity to move with the basketball players and then watch it translate to your game on the football field.
Man.
It's funny. Most of the time when you look at an offensive lineman, they've got big, stiff feet and stiff hips and they can't move. But your best attribute is that you don't move like a football player. You move like a basketball player. And you can see that translate. I mean, I know when I was playing with you, but now watching you on ESPN and TSN
Man.
and stuff like that, you see it pop up more and more.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just you acknowledging that and me knowing you when you came in as a freshman, bro, and like being one of the first offensive linemen in Central history to be able to go play football and basketball. I'm pretty sure there's probably been many guys that have gone, but there's not too many guys like you said at 320 be able to
Mm-hmm.
go translate like that and want to do that and enjoy that. And a lot of people didn't understand. I go from 320 now I got to drop to 270 to
Right.
go to get ready to play for basketball. Like in a matter of a month and a half, 2 months, got to go from 320 to 270. So it's interesting, bro. And it's interesting. I think it's more crazy because, bro, I was this close from not going to Central. I
Mm-hmm.
was so close from not going to Central, bro. I was almost decided to go with these Big Sky schools, but my best visit was at Central. And I will say a big shout out is to Elisha Paga. Elisha, that's my guy. Dejan, a lot of older guys, a lot of guys that maybe so I'll just mention a couple of guys that you know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of people that just helped me get to that point is so crazy. So you mentioning me being able to go play basketball, first of all, was crazy because you didn't understand the trials and tribulations I had to go through to get Coach Fisk and get Ian Shoemaker to believe in me because
Mm-hmm.
it came to about my grades, man. Came to about
Right.
my grades. I felt like I operated better when I was under pressure. Like when it
Mm-hmm.
came to like, okay, James, you got to keep your grades up because you got to be for football. So I
Mm-hmm.
translated that basketball. I told him, I said, man, if I play basketball, I'm going to keep my grades up. Because
Right.
there was times where I had struggle, man. There's times where I struggled. I was on academic probation at times, and there's times where I was on warning because I wasn't focused, wasn't doing like I was trying to do too much, trying to think I could do this. Or you're a man, you can handle this. No, I need some structure. I need practice. I need these things. And I had to be honest with myself. And that's why a lot of it wasn't even about me chasing a dream with basketball in college. It was about me finding an outlet for me to keep my grades to where they needed to be. That way, when the spring came around and I'm going straight into football season again, we're going
Right.
straight into workouts again. We're
Right.
going straight to these things again. And then now it's summer. Now I can actually chill because I don't have school at
Mm-hmm.
all. So it's interesting, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's also the beauty of Central. It's a small enough school to where you get the opportunity to do things like that, right? Like if you had gone to Eastern Washington or Portland State or Montana State, even the Pac-12 schools, would that have even been an option? Why don't you go more on your time at Central and kind of how you grew as a football player, maybe how you grew as a person, and what led to some of your successes later on at your career at Central, but then also going into your Seahawks mini camp.
Yes, sir. So going into my first years of Central, Ian Shoemaker got this rough nosed kid who doesn't really understand structure a little bit. But I understood how to respect people and I understood how to respect my elders, especially when it came to my coaches. So there was a lot of things I had to learn. Like I was the kid, you name it, man. I'm in there sagging, falling asleep in the meetings. First day of meetings, I'm in there sleep. Like I'm 2 minutes late to the first meeting. Then I'm sleep within the first 10 minutes of the meeting. I'm it's insane, bro. It's insane because you think about it. I really credit them coaches, man, because and our AD and our
Mhm.
president. I credit them guys a lot because they actually
Mhm.
saw a lot in me. They could have judged me right then and there in that moment. They could have looked at me in a whole different way, but they actually looked at me in a positive light and they gave me a chance. So I can only give them credit there, and I can be appreciative there. So I will
Mm,
say my beginning years at Central was awesome, but when I
mhm.
met Coach Fisk was a reality shock for me. It was this guy saw straight through me like butter and toast. Like
Mhm.
not like knife through a butter, however you want to put it. Like
Right.
you gained it. He literally saw right through me, man, and he said you have the potential to grab people in a way that you never even imagined. And I didn't even understand that because I felt like I was a leader, but he helped me understand like James, you're a leader, but you're not using it to your fullest potential. You're not using it to your greatest asset. It's kind of being a detriment to you because you're not carrying people with you. And when you're not carrying people with you, you're at a hindrance to the public, in my
Mhm.
opinion. So, and especially being in a position that I was in, I'm around hundreds of people, hundreds of men that are we're trying to achieve something, we're trying to chase something. So, after he was very blatantly honest with me, he said, you're lazy, you need to get in shape, you're not a good leader, you're not as good as a leader as you think you are, you can be better. And the way you play, if you want, you have potential to go to the NFL, but the way you play is not going to get you looked at. And he told me that this is the first time I met him. I
Mhm.
looked him dead in the face at 7 o'clock in the morning. I had cracks in my eyes, man. I couldn't even see this man. I don't even know who this
Yeah.
guy is. He
Mhm.
looked me dead in my face and said this. And I looked at him and I said, wow. I said, who are you? He said, I'm the new O-line coach. This is before he even signed. He
Right.
said seeing me in that moment made him, you know what I'm saying? That gave him the extra like, yeah, no, I want to work with this guy. And
Mhm.
when him being that honest with me reminded me of my old school coaches back at home. So I liked it. I really
Mhm.
liked it. And going through that time, bro, we get to now where you're in school with us. We've already won. I think we won a championship right before you got there. I think it was the year you got there. We won our
Ye
first championship. I
Year I
think
got
you
it's my
got there.
second year. Yeah, my
The
second year there.
second year you got there. We
Mhm.
won our first championship, bro, and that was a blessing because we had some good vets. As you know, we had Kevin Haynes, we had the Huertas, the Minikamuas. We had a lot of guys, man. We had a lot of guys, and that's just to name a few. And we had to learn very fast on how to win. We had to learn very fast how to win because we had coaches who were kind of used to winning, but they were kind of in that new threshold of trying to bring new talent. We're majority Washington State kids, and that's what's different about us. We're not doing a ton of recruiting outside the state. And we ended up winning the championship. We go down to Azusa, we win the championship, and we go down again, and we beat Humble State. We beat
Mhm.
Humble State, and it's awesome because you think about where we go, bro, and how we climb, and how you've seen it. You see the trials, you've seen the tribulations, you've seen the grass field before they got what they got now. I hope you're listening. Those
The
that are listening, man,
the
you have
holes on the track
all the holes on the track. Coach Fisk had us outside running on the track. Hey,
on the
bro,
track.
you got to be appreciative because listen, I go back
Yeah.
home, I go up there at Owensburg, and I'm so thankful because I'm
Mhm.
like, wow, this is crazy, bro. They have no idea when we played on the mud game where I caught the football in
Yes.
front of
Yep.
everybody and got tackled at the two. I got killed at the two. I
I
got
think your
killed.
body imprint's still over there, dude.
The body imprint was in there. I'm melted in history, or I'm here. We've made it, baby. We've made it. So it's
Uh,
crazy, bro. I've learned so much, and I'm so
yeah.
grateful for Central Washington, man, because
Mhm.
though it being D2, every time I walk in that building and I see that thing that I chose D2, I remember that day I signed. I remember
Mhm.
that day. And it's so crazy because I still have memories of that day. Still to this day, bro, I was looking in my gloves. I'm in a dream. I'm looking in the gloves, and it's crazy. It's a wildcat in my gloves. I'm around Central Washington. I woke up that next morning at 2 a.m. and committed in the middle of the night. So verbally,
Yep.
and it's so wild, bro, because now we get towards the end of Central. Now we're in the end because now we're at the end. We're in the playoffs. We're the favorites. We're one of the best teams in the country at this point. We have a top 5 rushing attack, top 5 passing attack. We got a great quarterback in Riley Hennessy. We got everything that we need. You're stepping in as a young guy coming in as a freshman, treasure freshman, coming in as a young guy stepping in. Our coach is asking me, hey, James, who do you want to come in? I say, man, if it's going to be anybody, it's got to be Orton. If it's going to be anybody, seriously. I was like, if you're going to consider it being anybody, I need Ordner out there because of your willingness to learn, bro. Your willingness that you actually care. you cared a lot about the game, and you appreciated the fact that we're out here working. You've seen what we've started. You have to keep this going. This is the thing that's going to pursue. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be the
Right.
reason why Central Washington jumps to where it goes next. We've already set the standard. Okay, now you're going to set the next standard. And you being a part of that playoff run and seeing those things and being a part of that, bro, was huge. We ended up coming short in the playoff run.
Right.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to Central now because I will give them guys their flowers, bro, because they worked their butt off this year. They
Mm-hmm.
worked their butt off, and they did something unique,
Mm-hmm.
very unique and very different. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. They were a much tighter team. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to discuss like whether the talent level, whatever that is. A lot of people want to say, well, the talent was a little bit different when we play. Well, listen, regardless of the fact, they still did that.
Right.
They still did that,
Succeeded.
and they to me, they did it with a lesser group, talent wise, than we had, in my personal opinion. But their team wise was they were here, man. They were locked in together, and they understood what the grind was. They were changing in the pools.
Mm-hmm.
What the pool
Yeah.
place was,
Yeah.
man. In
Yeah.
that'll teach you some grit. Just like when we kind of had to not fly over, but drive over to Puget Sound every day when we
Yeah.
doing the stuff was going
Practice.
on in the summer. Yeah, and the smoking stuff was going on. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy. It built me off for this moment, man. But to be honest, it's still crazy because getting the call from the Seahawks was so unsurreal.
Mm-hmm.
It was surreal. The moment.
You want to go through that day because we knew that there was a possibility of maybe you get drafted, maybe you
Yes.
sign after. Go
Mhm.
through that whole process, how it worked with you. I believe you had an agent, correct?
Yes, I did. I did. I
Yeah.
did.
So how'd that all go down with your agent? Really kind of break that down because we're going into drafting season right now. We're
Yeah,
recording
of
this
course.
while the combine's going on.
Yeah.
What are some of those experiences for those guys who are possible late round, possible free agent signing guys? What's that day like?
So my situation is this. Coming out of D2, I was a D2 All American,
Mhm.
D2 All American 2 years, and I had I had very high hopes, very high hopes. I was blessed enough to only give up. I only gave up one sack, maybe two sacks, my whole entire career
Yeah.
at Central, and I had very high hopes, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I was one of those guys. Like I felt very good going into the draft process. I had a lot of guys hitting me up. I felt very strong about it. I was like, okay, well, I'm a D2 guy. Okay, cool. But I was one of the best tackles in the country at my
Mhm.
position, respectfully, and at the time. And I truly felt like, honestly, coming to pass pro, we're talking about what it's a passing league. It's a
Right.
passing league in the NFL. I was, in my opinion, at that time, I was the best pass pro guy in the league, in the whole country at D2. I'm not
Right.
gonna
With the
speak. I'm not gonna
basketball,
speak. Yeah,
right?
yeah, the pass
Worked
offs, like
perfect for you.
they were. We were really me and Struble were very coordinated when it came to that. Me and you were very coordinated came to that. Like we're always on point with that stuff, you know. And I feel like that was, and I credit Coach Fitz to that. Our
Mhm.
our practice, the setting everything up, the looks that he gave us throughout the week, all the guys on the practice squad, all that, like that stuff was huge, bro. But we needed it. But
Mhm.
I truly feel, bro, there was a disconnect when, as we kept playing, there was some continuity issues when it came to like late game, like when we got up that 28-0 in the playoffs or something like that. Like I'm like just that little minor incident kind of created the draft process. That's kind of set up the draft process for me because I
Okay.
played so well in the playoffs. Let's say I played
Mhm.
good, we played whatever, but we lost when we were the
Mhm.
favorites. We were lost when we were the favorites, and as that happened, I picked my agents. I pick these people up, and we talking numbers, and we're talking about, okay, James, you might get drafted. Well, he's telling me that. I messed up personally, and I'm willing to admit that live right now. I made a personal mistake on my representation the first time. I didn't trust my gut.
Mhm.
I didn't trust my gut. And I'm willing to say that calmly and just respectfully. I did not trust my gut.
Mhm.
And it kind of hindered me a little bit in the process, a little bit. Kind of just because there were some things that I needed to work on individually that teams wanted to see. And I kind of let other people's opinions get in the way of how I truly feel and how I truly need to how I need to think about this because it's a business or
Right.
it's a business. It's a business. So you gotta do what appeases the business when it comes to trying to get your foot in the door. So I kind of messed that up in a sense. Going through that process, bro, was very frustrating, very,
Mhm.
very, very struggling because I understood, okay, I might not get drafted because I'm a D2 guy, and I already understand how they visualize D2 guys.
Right.
And you have to be very unique. You have to stand out. And I thought I was that. And that's why I had to do a lot of growth. But I appreciate this because this part right here is what helped me get right. When I realized the day that the draft happened, I'm playing basketball in a basketball tournament down in Yakima, Washington.
Both
I'm in,
habits die hard.
I'm in a basketball tournament in Yakima, Washington, bro. I'm having a good time with my friends. We're playing in the tournament. I get a phone call from Mike Solari, the offensive line coach from Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me a phone call. I'm talking to him. Him and Peter on the phone, both of them. They're like, "Well, we're like, Mr. Moore, we really like you. We really enjoy you. We like what we saw. We think you have some of the best feet in this class."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that. They said, we're not going to draft you, but we're going to pick you up after the draft. I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect to get drafted. Anyway, personally, that's just my personal. That just where my mind was at. I've always been on the short end. I
Mm-hmm.
got to prove myself. I know anybody can say that, but I really I genuinely feel that I always had to prove myself, and right now I'm still to this day, I'm still proving myself. So
Mm-hmm.
those are in the draft process now that are in low majors or D2 guys, D3 guys. So there's D3 guys in the NFL.
Right.
You have to understand where you have to really believe in your dream. You have
Mm-hmm.
to believe in what you're trying to do. So like when I went in my pro day, if I would, and I wish I had the players and the people that I know now, I would have probably gotten a bigger pro day. I would have
Right.
probably gotten something a little bit bigger. I had my pro day at Eastern Washington University, which is a great school at the time. Cooper Cup came out of that school. A lot of guys came out of that school. Great school, great university, great football program. Can't give them enough praise. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate Coach Best for even giving me a chance to even get in there. First of all, and that is it. Just as you learn different things about the game, the nuances. I needed to work on my upper body. I needed to work on my bench numbers. They wanted to see my bench numbers go through the roof for a D2 guy. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted me to hit 35, 30. I think I only hit that thing like 17 times. But like I explained to him, I said, what, Central, we didn't even bench press. We didn't even do bench press. We did dumbbell bench like majority of the time. We did a lot of dumbbell stuff. We believed in protecting our shoulders in that fashion that way. But I wish I would have understood that and knew that going into the process a little bit more. I would have stuck on bench a little bit heavier, and then it would have helped me a lot. But when you get to rookie mini camp and you start to realize these guys bench all these numbers, and when you line it up, that stuff doesn't matter.
Right.
Seriously, you get there and you're like, wow, it doesn't matter because you go through this whole frustrating process of who's going to get drafted. You might get picked up, you might not get picked up, and you got to be okay with either or. And you have to understand that there's a bunch of people that are always they're going to look ahead of these guys because they're going to feel like Bama's playing some elite competition.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson's playing some elite competition. Syracuse playing some elite competition. UW playing some elite competition. How can you compare to those guys? But I'm going to tell you firsthand, once you line it up and you get in front of these guys, you wouldn't even know they went to UW.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't know they went to Bama. I've gone against the Bamas. I've gone against the Clemson's post-college now.
Mm-hmm.
Post-college, I've gone against these guys. And now it's like, okay, there is no difference. It's the prestige.
Right.
It's the prestige. It's the respect that Nick Saban has built throughout that community when it comes to Bama. Respect to Bama. Sweeney when it comes to Clemson. All these things, like it's huge. These people they built it up to what it is. But when these players line it up, the pads are the pads. I put my shorts on the same. I put my pants on the same. Or you got to put your cleat right to left. I got to put my cleat on right to left. My gloves is right hand, left hand. Your hands are only but so big. We got to line it up eventually. So I've learned that going into the Seahawks minicamp. I learned that, bro. Being a part of that was huge. The process of me not knowing if I'm gonna get drafted. Did I go to the right place? Did I train the right place? Did I pick the right representation? All of that helped me prepare to get to the Seahawks minicamp where I felt like I performed very well. And I was told I performed very well. They have like clips of the day. They have
Mm-hmm.
clips of the day for every day for practice.
Right.
And I was on the clip of the day every day. All 3 days of those mini camp, I was on the clip of the day of a backside cutoff, a pass set, dumping a guy on the pass set and stuff like that. So I'm in the basketball. We had a basketball competition. I won.
Of
I won.
course you won. Of
You know,
course you won.
listen, I'm not. I'm not gonna sit there. I'm not gonna sit there and say too much. But if you were there, those who were there, I was. I won. It was really a sweep, 5-1. I won, and they
Of
couldn't
course.
believe it. They couldn't
Of
believe it.
course.
I respect that because I always will give Pete Carroll a lot of credit to that because that is such a positive environment that he's built there.
Right.
It's so awesome it was awesome being a part of that because the fact that he called me out knew I played basketball. And that was right there was already like, man, you have no idea, man. I watched you at USC, man. When you were at USC, when I was a young
Yeah.
kid. So you know who I am is already like I made it. I feel like I made it somewhere. Walking up to the facility was everything, bro. But everything happened for a reason. I felt like I played well, but I was not ready. If I'm being totally honest with you, I wasn't ready at the time. I wasn't ready at the time. So when I ended up getting released, it was like you learn, you live and you learn. I just like, okay, well, why did I get released? Well, I felt they told me I played so well. I'm going against the draft pick that they had picked in the first round. I'm not giving them no sacks to them all camp. We get to the scrimmage day. I'm balling. Me and him are almost we dang near getting to a fight in front of everybody on the third day when all the fans was there. That's probably one of the reasons why I got kicked off, if I'm being honest with you.
You and LJ Collier, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Man, me and LJ. Me and LJ had a lot to say that day, buddy. God got me, man. Like that's how that's how I just think about it, bro. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about. You
Yeah.
learn some different things, bro. So that's my Seahawks experience was positive. I think I learned a lot from that, and it kind of humbled me a
Right.
lot. Yeah.
Right. Well, and then you want to talk about another humbling experience because your time in Seattle, right after that, that's kind of when, AAF is starting, the talks of the XFL coming back. Obviously, there's the Canadian Football League. But right when you go through that whole process is when COVID hits. So then you go from like, okay, well, I didn't make it in Seattle in the mini camp. I can go get film at one of these other leagues, and I can then use that to try and get back into the NFL or get with a different team, get into a training camp, whatever. And then COVID hits. How did you keep your mentals where they needed to be physically? You said you weren't ready yet. So how'd you make gains to get ready for that next level? And then what league did you find to take that next step in where you could get some film back out there and show everybody like, hey, I'm still working and I still want to achieve this dream?
It's a great question, man. It's a great question. It was really hard. It was really hard. Went through a lot of dark times, really. Really will
Mhm.
say that. Especially after when I felt like I was released the first time in Seattle. I went through a very dark time, bro, personally. Was trying to figure out a lot of different things within myself. I felt like was I worthy? I was like asking myself that, am I worthy of this? Did I work hard enough? I didn't know what I was gonna do because like when some people say like football is your identity, you really feel like that at some point when you're playing sports. Like, wow, this is really my identity. This is who I feel like I am. When people ask me, this is the first thing that comes out of my mouth. And you learn different things, bro. And I was in a dark spot where I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I was struggling, trying to figure out myself, trying to figure out what I needed to do. The things that I was telling my parents, I felt like I performed really well in college. I'm telling them, oh, just be ready. Be ready. You know what I'm saying? These things are about to happen. The next step is about to happen. We're about to jump into a new blessing. And when you see it just snatched away from you so quick, it kind of is hard. It's very hard. And then every time you have a conversation with somebody, it's how's football? Hey man, I see you got something to the Seahawks, man. That's awesome, man. How's everything going there? No, it's going okay, and it's going this, it's going that. It's a struggle, bro. It's a struggle. It was hard. It was very tough time for me trying to figure out my life, but it kind of helped me get back to what I really enjoy. I started working again with the boys and girls clubs and started working with the youth. I started tapping into the youth and understanding like this is the like this is the part of the reason why I am who I am today. Like being around positive influences, being around people that genuinely want to pour into you. And I wanted to be that for these kids. I wanted to be an outlet for them, and I learned to grab that very quick, which honestly helped me a lot. Like living through them helped me a lot. Just being around them, seeing the joy on their face when they play stuff and the joy that they think you're so good. They think you're Superman. They don't
Right.
even know. You know what I'm saying? They're like, they think you're even almost as good as LeBron in a sense.
Right.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So I had to deal with a lot, bro. Dealing with trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay these things and how I'm gonna take care of this stuff, and
Mhm.
then after that, I got into a car accident. So it was like kind of crazy. Life was just kind of lifing at the time. Life was just a lot of stuff was going on, and I
Right.
was really just figure out what is my next step. What is that going to look like? Because like you said, COVID hit. When
Mhm.
COVID hit, I was in talks with other teams from the NFL,
Right.
talking to teams, having conversations with them, and they're just like, "Wait, man, we got to cut down our roster size. We got to cut down our size on our stuff. So this is not an option right now.
Mhm.
This is not an option right now, you know."
Right.
So you learn. It was hard, bro. It was hard. It was hard trying to have discussions with your mom, talking to your dad. Like, what's going on? They're like, "Are you still motivated?"
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm motivated. I still feel good. I feel confident. It just hurts my feelings a little bit, but that's naturally a human emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to learn separate the two. Separate the two. You got to be able to separate the two because if you don't, then you're always going to get hurt in this thing called business. No matter whether it be football, all the way down to giving out breakfast commercials or anything. You can name it.
Right. Right. Right.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Just trying to learn my life. You trying to figure it out. That I love that question you asked me. I haven't even been asked that in a long time, so I like that. That's a good question.
Yeah, I get it. I help out at some of the high schools and some of the middle schools around my area, and it's like the minute that you start doing it, like, yeah, I played D2 football. They're like, oh my goodness, there's a freak out. It's almost like the minute you can have this brutal day, like you can have a day where life's just beating down on you, but when you're around, the boys and girls club, or you're around students that you're helping lift up, the difference that it can make in your day is incredible. So you go through this difficult time, and then you finally get a call from the BC Lions, your first stint with BC. You're now on your
Yes,
second, right?
yes, sir.
Take me through that day, and then take me through what it was like for you trying to figure out, all right, I'm going to Canada. How is the CFL different? It's a bigger field. It's a different game. You can have guys in motion going towards the line of scrimmage. How did that all go down? How did that all work in your head? How'd you figure that out?
Crazy, crazy to say the least. Like crazy. Just didn't even understand. So first of all, didn't understand the prestige that the CFL had.
Right.
Full understanding of that. Didn't even understand the respect level that there was in the CFL. Didn't understand how many professional athletes that are really talented that played in the CFL. Like
Mhm.
a lot of Chad Johnson played in the CFL. Like this
Right.
crazy. Not understanding the true understand that there's so much talent here. You should never be embarrassed to go to the CFL.
Yeah, Hall of Famers
Hall
come
of
out of the CFL.
Hall
Mhm.
of like it's shot at Adam Big Hill going to Central Washington.
Mhm.
Played up there. Mike Riley played up
Mhm.
there. It's crazy. Those are two legends. They're going down in the Hall of Fame for sure. And
Right.
it's interesting, bro, because I get the call and you don't know. It's so positive. I break down. I start crying. Immediately start crying, bro,
Mhm.
because it's so crazy. And I don't even think you. No, this is just a brief stint because you remember the spring league.
Yes, I remember the spring league.
Playing in the spring league is where I ended up getting saw by BC and
Mhm.
Saskatchewan. So I had a choice between BC and Saskatchewan. And I chose BC because it was close to the crib, close home,
Okay.
family. Everybody could come to the games. If I wanted to, I could even call Coach Fisk, come to the game, man. Come see what's up with the game. And but I didn't understand the rules. They kind of I didn't understand. So when you like you saying like the
Yeah.
motion, the full speed, or over here, man, over the head, man, I was lost.
It's a different game. It's a
It's a
sneaky a different game.
it's a different beast. So like the guy's getting a yard off, so everybody's getting pretty much a full speed run at you every time. It's kind of crazy, kind of different. I kind of had to learn that. I adjusted pretty quick. Wasn't what I expected the first time, if I'm
Mhm.
being honest. Wasn't what everything I expected the first time. I learned a lot. I created some great bonds, some good friendships up there.
Mhm.
Uh, I understand it's still business, still business. I'm being up
Right.
there in BC, being up there my first stint. It was business. They counted me as I was a young guy. I was a rookie.
Mhm.
Anybody, anytime if you're new to the Canadian Football League, you're a rookie. I don't care. You're a
Right.
rookie.
Right.
It's different, bro. It's different.
Mhm.
Like you're saying, like you can have multiple motions. You got guys running full speed. I credit the DBs in this league. It's definitely hard to guard,
Mhm.
especially with it being 12 yards wider a field.
Right.
And you get 2, 3 downs. You only get 3 downs. So it's different, bro. I had to learn. It was hard. I butted heads with guys. I had some difficulties there. But as the time went, I learned fast. I learned fast. I appreciated it. I love Canada. I am actually a citizen
Oh,
of Canada.
oh, there you go.
I'm actually a citizen of Canada. I have my paperwork and everything. So I'm actually technically a citizen of Canada.
There you go. That's awesome. So you get a little dual citizenship there.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
on your first time there in BC, did they have you still stay out at tackle? Did you learn any new positions? How'd
No,
that
I
go?
stayed out at tackle majority of the time. Played right and left, right and left. First time I ever played right tackle was in the spring league,
Mhm.
and it's crazy. A lot of people said I played that better than I did my left.
Which is weird because it's people don't get how difficult that transition from left to right or right to left is. It's a completely different thing.
Completely like the feet, the footwork, the mindset, how you approach it, and it's like the angles are different. And
Right.
low key, sometimes if you're unless you work on your hips
Mhm.
often, you have a one bad hip. One hip's better than the other hip. So
Right.
like it's
Mhm.
like harder to turn. It's a little bit harder to kind of stay square on
Right.
certain distances. So
Mhm.
I had to learn that. But I picked up on a lot of things. I will say this, bro. My first two one-on-one reps in Canada humbled me, brother.
It was your welcome to the CFL moment.
It's that, yeah, it's that. So you think you're sure since you're an American, since you're an American, you played at these whatever you played at, you
Mhm.
think you're good. Okay. So I went against a guy, Matthew Betts. Right now,
Yeah.
Matthew Betts just got called up to go play for the Detroit Lions
Yes.
this year. So I didn't understand his yard off. He's so far. I'm like, God, he's so far away. Where I got plenty of time. The ball snaps, first one-on-one rep. He beats me so bad on the inside move. I'm literally just standing there. I'm in my set, just standing there, not even moving, in front of everybody. This is in front of everybody, bro. He beats me. He walks back to the line of scrimmage. He looks at the coach. Said, "You want me to do this again?" I said, "Man, I was like, I know he's not talking to me. I know he's not talking to me like that. Like, you know."
You got
So we
one.
start, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you got one. That's all he's gonna do. So he did same thing, same set, same move. He beats me just cleaner than the first time. I didn't get a hand on him, not a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to sit back. I was like, oh snap, that yard off is different. I said that yard off, it plays a big part in your set. Plays a
Completely
big part.
changes.
It's a completely different change. Like you got to be ready for the bull at all times.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so much, bro. Like there was so much, but once I got it, I got it. I
No,
think
for
after
sure.
that, I didn't lose a one-on-one again for until the rest of the season. The time I
Right.
was there. For the time I was there, I didn't lose another one-on-one. I learned a
Right.
lot. I learned a lot about the game. As you know, I'm a competitor. I compete, especially when
Mhm.
it comes to one-on-ones. I don't like losing.
Mhm.
Really don't like losing. I don't care what we're doing. But I learned a lot, bro, about that. My brief
Mhm.
time in Canada, there was a lot that I grasped from that time, bro. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Right. Well, and then so in between, so you had your first stint, and so you're up in Canada in 2022.
Yep.
2023, The Rock brings back the XFL, and you get signed out to Houston. So you play for the Roughnecks. You end up suiting up in what, 9 regular season games.
Yep.
So that was pretty much the entire season. You get
Yep.
6 starts. You were playing both
I
tackles,
got
right?
so I didn't play the first game at all. I appeared in every game after that, and I started 7 games.
Seven
I
games.
started
Okay, my
7 games.
bad.
Yeah, I started. No, you're good. You're good. Because I had to
Mhm.
think about it too. You said seven. I was like, was it six? I thought it was almost like, was it five? No, so it's about seven, 8 games. About seven, eight
Okay,
games I started the rest of the
gotcha.
season. It was bro. I didn't even get to let you finish the rest of your question. I almost let you. What did you say again?
No, you're all good. So I was wondering, like, what's the difference with the XFL to the CFL? XFL is more close, it's closer
Yeah,
to more traditional football.
yeah.
But then also like kind of what's your experience? What was your experience in the XFL? You're getting to play on ESPN or Fox every single weekend. Obviously in Canada, you're playing on TSN, but still, what was kind of your experience through that? How
Yeah,
how how did they treat you guys? Did you
yeah.
like playing with the staff? How was that all going?
Bro, it was unique.
Mhm.
Mind you, first of all, I was at home on the
Mhm.
couch when they called me. I was on the home on the couch. I haven't been working out. Wasn't working out the way I needed to be working out, not the way I needed
Mm.
to. And I will be totally honest about that. I
Mhm.
was I was lifting, but I wasn't doing the stuff that I'm doing now. I'm not
Right.
doing. I'm a lot more focused right now. And I was just at home. There, mind you, they're like 2, 3 weeks into camp. 2 weeks into camp. I came the last 2 weeks of camp.
Mhm.
Last 2 weeks of camp. I pull up, had a good. Just looking at the environment, bro. It was very different. I'm in Texas. Like I said, now this is where my first. I had a good preview going against Clemson guys and Mississippi State guys at the spring league.
Right.
Then I'm going to CFL. You go against some guys that are from these schools and some couple, here or there. But this is the first time I'm like, okay, I'm literally the only D2 guy in the building.
Mhm.
Like literally me and the running back, my boy Garrett. Um,
Mhm.
Me and him are the only D2 guys in the building.
Right.
Like coaches too. We're the only D2 guys in the building. So I get there and it's interesting, bro, because like there's egos. There's egos
Mhm.
everywhere you go. So I had to adjust in that fashion, bro. But I picked up on the stuff very quick. It was a lot more back to normal, if I would say, but the game is the same. Football is
Mhm.
the same everywhere you go. Every
Right.
athlete's gonna have their unique traits. Everybody's gonna have their unique differences. But the only thing I would say that was majorly different with the XFL and the CFL is the level of speed the dudes were playing at in the XFL.
Mhm.
The CFL with that yard off, everybody kind of seems fast, but it's a more of a patient game. When it's like right on that line, you get to see a lot of guys show their athleticism. You get to show why they're who they are, So I got to learn a lot that way. Getting coached under Andre Gerard, Hall of Famer, Cowboys legend. I learned a lot from him, man. Got a good relationship with him. Learned a ton. A free game. Just
Mhm.
understand the game. Just breaking down different things. People they picked on me up there, man. Like I said, being from Seattle, mind
Yeah.
you, they think, okay, first of all, I'm from Seattle. How is this dude this big and he's from Seattle? They've never seen a guy my size from Seattle. And that blows my mind. Because I tell
Right.
them, I said, bro, I'm like one of the smaller guys that I hang out with. When it comes to like, I know dudes who are 6'7", seven
Mhm.
foot, 6'10". They're like, we've never seen a guy you're that big. You're like that big from Seattle. Don't you
Right.
guys got a bunch of fish? I said, what does that mean? I don't even understand what that means, man. I'm from Tacoma,
Not
so
everyone's Jamal Crawford. Like, what the hell?
you know what I'm saying. So I had to. They would joan on me and mess with me that way, and just kind of just kid with me, bro, and pick on me a
Mhm.
little bit. But I loved it. I loved it. I enjoyed the whole experience in itself. They treated us good. There's some aspects that can always be better, always in
Right.
anything. Not everything's perfect. Not
Right.
everything's perfect. But for the most part, in every fashion, they took care of us. They gave us a good opportunity to present and show out. And that's one thing I can't say. They gave us opportunity to come be ourselves. They allowed me to be me. I had a great time up there, bro. I had a great
Mhm.
time. I learned a ton of stuff. I got to meet a bunch of guys, some good relationships, going to do business with some guys that I ended up meeting up there. So it's
Mhm.
like, it's like some things you can take it with a grain of salt. You can get mad, but you got to take the lemon with some lemonade. You gotta
Right.
mix it a little bit. You got to take the sour with the sweet. You got to kind of be
Right.
okay with it. Like, okay, it wasn't the best
Mhm.
regarding this. Some things could be better, but I met this guy. I met this guy. I got a good relationship with this coach. I have this coach. I have pictures with Coach Wade Phillips.
Right. Yeah.
Me and him shared many good conversations. Me and him shared many good conversations. We had a lot of good conversations, bro. Like he told me how good of a tackle I was. I'm one of the good tackles that he's ever coached with and seen. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
awesome. All that is like you take that and you got to smile with that because even if I'm not accepted to the next level, let's say if they don't put me in, I'm still trying for the NFL. But let's say they don't, I already feel validated. I don't need somebody else to tell me what
Mhm.
I can and can't do. I know what I can do.
Right.
I
You
know
were successful
I'm
with
sure I
laser.
feel good with it now at this point. Like I feel, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I feel comfortable with myself that I'm like, you know what? It has nothing to do with my individual skill base because if it was about that, the NFL would look different.
Mhm.
But I gotta be okay with the fact that you gotta take these little small wins, man. When people say you're doing well, you take the appreciative of the ones who are going against you.
Mhm.
The dude that was defensive player of the year, I'm not on his highlight tape for good reason. I had a great game against him.
Yeah.
So you just it's little things like that, man. You gotta take the nuances, you gotta take the grain with the salt. But the leagues are very different, but they're very the same when it comes to the natural tenacity, the natural
Mhm.
abilities, and guys are athletic everywhere you go. And you
Right.
know that.
Yeah.
It's just about it's the nuances, bro. You got to be slowing the game down in your
Mhm.
mind, knowing what you're doing. That's why I appreciate Coach Fish, the stuff that he would teach us about understanding 3x2s, stack safeties, fire zones, the things that Coach Power come in and understand how this is how blitzes work. These is
Mhm.
how these things work. This is how this works. I apply that so much, and it's so crazy, or you'll be so surprised. Dudes that are in the NFL, dudes that are at the next level, have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
They've never
Right.
even
'Cause they just didn't
don't
get
talk
taught
about
that.
that.
They
They don't
just
get taught
thrived
that.
on the athleticism. Yeah.
They just rely on the fact that if I see it, I can get to it.
Mm.
Well, I can see it. I'm athletic enough, but what if we know it's coming?
Right.
What
It
if
could be
that takes the
prep.
game to a new level? So
Mhm.
yeah,
That's awesome. You're going back to BC now for your second stint.
yes, sir.
What's the biggest thing that you're gonna take from your first stint that, you learned that you're gonna apply to the second time?
Man, I know the game.
Mhm.
I understand the game a lot better. I understood the objective and how they see offensive line play up there. Um, I have a I'm a lot stronger, but this is the strongest I've ever been in my life.
Mhm.
I can consistently do 12 pull-ups without a band.
How much you weigh?
Right now, I'm weighing at 310 right now. So
Sheesh.
right now, I'm feeling pretty god darn good about that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that I can do 12 pull-ups, like literally no struggle. It feels great doing them.
Mhm.
My core is the strongest it's ever been in my life.
Mhm.
I've been so focused on the things that I really am not good at, like my back strength, my core
Mhm.
strength, my chest, like just stuff like that. I've been kind of just really locking in. I just feel like I have a better understanding, bro, of my overall ability.
Right.
I've always shortchanged myself when it comes to training. I've always I've kind of relied on my natural ability. Well, now it's what if I actually get strong? What if I actually
Mhm.
get right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest thing. Like, the only thing I'm learning going into the second stint is I have an opportunity to not just be good, but to dominate at a high level.
Yeah.
I have a very good chance to dominate, like not just do well. I don't want to just do well. I feel like right now I'm going into my year 4 pro. I need to dominate at a
Mhm.
high level. I want to dominate. I want to impose my will on people when I play. I want to win a championship. I want to go up to BC this year. It's in Vancouver. The Grey Cup is in Vancouver.
Yep.
I want to be in that Grey Cup. I want to have this interview with you a day before the Grey Cup, right here on this set, and talk about what we're going to do to whoever we play
Mhm.
and have a good time that way because I feel confident, bro. I'm in a state right now, bro, and it's so crazy just with the training. It's just that the training takes over at some point. You just feel good. I can't wait to really show I've actually been working. Like, no, this dude's
Mhm.
been working for real. Like, he didn't have this when we last saw him. He wasn't doing this last time.
Mhm.
That's the type of passion I'm going in with this time. I feel like I'm a totally different guy. I feel good. I'm more in tune with my weaknesses and I'm open about it.
Right.
I think that's the difference right
Well, there's
now.
growth in that.
They you know what I'm saying? Like there's just a okay, well, what he was saying was might have been true. I may not have accepted it the way it needed to be accepted at the time, but now I'm sitting here thinking about it and I'm looking on it like, nah, James, your back's weak. Your core's weak. You need to work on it. These are the things that do you think that these dudes that have big old bellies in the NFL, they have a lot of these dudes are strong. These dudes
Strong.
have a lot of core strength. They have a
Mhm.
lot of things that they got going for them that I just don't have. And I'm willing to admit that. And that's something that the NFL want to see. And that's stuff that, you know what, if you that's what you want to see, I need to step my game up. I'm not
Right.
gonna take it personal. I need to step my game up. need to work harder, you know. So I just feel like I'm going in with that mentality this time. I understand the game. I understand what I need to do. I don't care who I need to get in the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to win everything, every rep. That's the goal right now, bro. I see myself visualize and I keep dreaming about it, and it's for a good reason. I see us in the Grey Cup.
Mm-hmm. Hell
I
yeah.
see Grey Cup. We was close the first year I was there. I didn't even
Mhm.
play.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them, I say, if I get on that field, every team I've ever been on, we get close or we win the championship
Right.
every time. And I feel
Mhm.
like that personally. Like in college, it was the same way. It was in when I got out of college, I won my first pro championship in the spring league. I won that championship. We went as soon as I got there, we went 7-0, and
Mhm.
we won out.
Mhm.
Before
Hell
that,
yeah.
we was 500. I
Mhm.
came in, we won out. Didn't give up no more sacks.
Mhm. Dude, if I'm a BC Lions fan, that's going to fire me up. I'm a big James Moore fan, as you know. So I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you. I can't wait. You're reporting in the middle of May for training camp?
Yeah, May 7th. May 7th.
May 7th, beginning of May.
Yes,
Some
sir.
say the 7th is the new 12th of May. At least that's what I'm going to claim.
Thank God
So
for his birthday, man.
beginning of May, you're going to report for training camp. You've got that whole season from June until November for the CFL. James, thank you so much for coming on today, telling your story, and I cannot wait to root for you this year with the BC Lions.
Man, I appreciate you, the Couch GM. I appreciate this platform. You guys are awesome. Will, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. I'm cheering you on because as much as you're a fan of mine, I'm a bigger fan of yours, bro. I really appreciate you, man, more than you ever know and will ever know because I'm probably never going to tell you. But I do appreciate you, bro. You've been a blessing in my life. You've been a blessing everywhere you go. That smile is contagious. Keep being you. Thank you again, bro. This has been a blessing for the platform. I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it, James. Thank you again to the Couch GM for hosting In the Trenches. Thank you, of course, to our sponsor, Black Label. Thank you so much to Troy and that crew for sponsoring the pod. Love the supplements. Fantastic. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of In the Trenches.
Oh, look at this run. What a run. Marshawn Lynch still on his feet.